when the ball's out there, right? This is the stuff I love. Yeah. So if we're the back three and our fullback Shaw has gone out to press the ball, so we're in the box, right?
The ball's coming from that
side where Saka is, right? You've got to be talking, or you. To me, control me. You're controlling me, you're controlling him and me. Yeah. So if someone runs across you, and you're not going to follow him, I need to hear.
Yeah.
So I can go, right, I'll take him.
Well, you got man coming.
But I watched that, no one in there talking. Like, Aaron Wan Bissaka, at one point, it's got 2 players. He should be screaming in centre half, get back here, because he was touching Saliba, I think it was. And you mark Saliba, and I'm going to stay here with my man. But doesn't talk. And that's one part of the game that is so vital and stops so many situations, not even goals, stops so many situations happening in games if you just talk. That was my game. One of my biggest attributes. And you ask Nicky Butt, you ask Scholesy, you ask Carrick, especially. I played for him for so many years. Owen Hargreaves, especially. That was me.
Really random.
Screaming, left, right, up, back, press. You got to scream.
Is that why you were captain? Because at one point, if you look at the United hierarchy, it shouldn't have been you, right? But do you reckon that's one of... No, if you look at longevity, innit? Like I'm talking longevity.
Age and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, I was a loudmouth. Like in the changing room, I was loud and stuff, and had a laugh and stuff. But on the pitch, I was a shouter and a screamer of just like instructions of where to be. Like, and all I thought about was... When I'm shouting, I'm keeping myself on my toes to stay concentrated, which every centre-back should be doing, especially. Stay in the game. So every time I'm talking, I'm in the game, right? But I'm also trying to make Carrick's game easier and life easier. So when I'm shouting him left or right, that means he ain't having to look over his shoulder to find where players are. The striker's gone to the left. Carrick's left. He takes a step, that ball then can't be played in there. So he hasn't got to run 20 yards back. He's staying there, making his life easier. Same with the fullback if I'm shouting him. Vida, squeeze, you attack it, you go, I'm behind. He's just doing one job. We ain't thinking about 2 or 3 jobs. And I think you just got to communicate. I think young players now, if any young players watch this, is one of the things, if you add talking to your game, I swear to you, you run less and you don't have to work as hard sometimes and you make everyone else's life easier. You've got a better chance of winning.
What about for England? Did that work with Stevie G, for example?
Yeah, but it's like...
It's a different relationship,
it's a different relationship,
that's why
and it's also knowing
different language.
Yeah, it's knowing players, isn't it? Knowing their traits and knowing what they want. Do you know what I mean? I know what Carrick wanted. I was with him every day.
Yeah,
I know what Scholesy needed, what he wanted. I was with him every day. And you're shouting Wazza where you want him when we haven't got the ball, etc., or where you want him to press. Carlos go, like etc. Darren Fletcher. So, but it takes time and it takes encouragement from coaches for players to grow into that.
When there was 2v1 on Wan Bissaka, was it a free kick or a corner that they went and stood on him? Because Saliba's not there by accident.
Yeah, so I think it's a corner.
Are you talking second goal or first goal?
It was just before the Nketiah goal, wasn't it?
First goal or second
goal? Was that the
first? First goal.
Yeah,
corner.
it was the first, yeah. So at that moment, whose responsibility is that? Is that Martinez? Is that Varane? Is that the keeper? Whose responsibility is it? Or is it Wan Bissaka's himself to say, I've got 2?
Yeah, he's got to shout. Because obviously the 2 centre-backs are looking where the ball is, right? They're looking at where the ball is and you would think be touching himself to someone. But Wan Bissaka, when you're the furthest man, you can see the whole picture. You can see everything. You have to be the voice along the line. That's what Gary Neville was brilliant at that. From the ball was the other side, he'd be screaming across the line, up, because he was sometimes the last man and get up. Or if someone's running across early who's bigger. And that's another one. If you have a big striker pulling off on the back post, I wouldn't want him on Gary Neville. I would swap as much as I could. I'd get out the back and I say, Gary, come inside. But that's communication.
What's Pat like on the other side? Because obviously you was closer to Gary on this side, because he was usually right-hand side. Could you hear Pat?
Yeah, Pat weren't a big talker. He weren't a big talker. Vida would talk a bit, but everyone had their different roles though, do you know what I mean? Pat was great in the air though. So Pat didn't mind following a big striker or taking a big striker on the back post because he could compete. He was big. And he was fine with that. And that's our pattern. It's about relationships. Mine and Neville's relationship was different to Pat and Vida's. They had a certain way of working. I had a certain way working with Gary.